Rockology Hour interviews.
What's up, everybody? I am joined on the Zoom machine by Roger Lima from Less Than Jake. How are you doing, mate?
I'm doing excellent, and I'm enjoying the Zoom technology. Actually, this is my first ever Zoom interview.
Yeah, really? How are you finding it?
I mean, so far,
Quality-wise?
yeah. I mean, maybe it's your pleasant accent that's making me enjoy it more than usual, but it's all good.
Is it true us kind of British folk sound more intelligent than we actually are, or are you just imagining Harry Potter right now?
I don't know if it's an intelligent factor. It just sounds like like you really mean it. Like you're more considerate, I think, is how it.
I am genuinely sincere in saying I'm thrilled to have you on the show. How are you finding this whole kind of crazy world we're living in, this kind of lockdown pandemic life?
I mean, it's it's like the world's broken, man. And honestly, like being home for this time isn't so bad. Having time to be creative isn't so bad. Having time to fix things around the house and that kind of thing isn't so bad. I just really miss playing shows. I really miss the energy transfer. I don't really. It's hard to explain. I don't miss like the tour bus. I don't miss like the travel. I don't miss like the paycheck. I just miss the fucking energy. Excuse me, I didn't mean to say that.
That's all right.
But like, there's the energy transfer that happens, and it's something that I just wasn't. I wasn't aware how addicted I was to it. And you know, sometimes you feel like kind of you miss tour after a couple of months of not being on tour or that kind of thing. And it kind of felt like that for a while, but now I'm like in full withdrawal, man. I just want to like see a crowd sweating and screaming, like it's crazy.
Yeah, you're ready to get back out there, but you are giving something to the fans because you guys have just released Lost at Home sessions.
Yeah, well, we had to do something, and we were looking around, and we weren't sure if we were able to release our full record, so we thought we would just kind of come up with some new songs. So we did the Lost at Home thing, sort of writing separately and recording separately, sort of like an experiment, and kind of to keep the creative sort of energy flying, because we did just finish, a full record. So it's kind of it's great to have some kind of project like that to keep us busy, but at the same time, it just kind of feels like it's like I'm just like nibbling on something when the record is like the full plate, and like I can't wait for the full meal to come out,
Yeah, nice little appetizer.
Yeah.
So I guess we've kind of, everyone kind of stuck indoors. Has it given you kind of a pause for, reflection on your career? Because it's been quite a remarkable career. You guys almost been going for like 30 years, I think. So has it given you a chance to kind of reflect?
A little bit. We've been kind of the guys in the band, we've been ramping up the social media, and that's kind of got us in looking at old pictures and kind of thinking about old tours and old laminates and all these bands that we've had all these experiences with and stuff. And it's like we're in a crazy place right now. Like we've come a really long way as a band. It's been a long trip, man. But the crazy thing about it is that the way things feel within the band right now, with this sort of newer energy that we have and this new album and all this kind of other stuff that's sort of new, it still feels like we're on our way. It still feels like we haven't done our best yet. Like it's kind of this band is a crazy thing. Like we just keep pushing ourselves and trying to come up with stuff, and we're lucky that our fans are kind of along for the ride.
Yeah, it's been an amazing ride. What are your kind of early memories of kind of when you first kind of joined Less Than Jake, I guess in '92, around then? What were your kind of memories of the early days?
Oh man, I mean, back in those times, it was just about kind of playing for your friends and getting some free beers at the local pub there when you're getting to play the show, and trying to chat up some ladies and just sort of enjoying each individual night, because there were smaller shows and there's a lot more mingling with the crowd and that kind of thing. And when we first got our first sort of outside of town shows, we were playing in Daytona and starting to develop a little bit of a following in Daytona, and that just felt really felt amazing that we could just drive a couple hours and there was a bunch of new faces there that like cared about our songs. So it was a good time. It was very adventurous. We had loads and loads of energy and loads of ideas, and we definitely had big dreams back then, I feel like. So it's fun to think back to that, and I can't imagine being in a band now and trying to go through what we went through back before the internet, before GPS on your phone, before all these like modern day conveniences that really make touring like a lot easier. We did work. It was rough back then a little bit, comparatively. So
Yeah.
Good times. Makes me feel old in a good way.
I would like to quickly talk about your record Anthem, because we had it as our record of the week last week. I think every summer I kind of bring it out, have a few beers in the sun, barbecuing, listening to that record. What was making that record like? That's a fantastic record. I just want to kind of get a bit of behind the scenes stuff on that.
Yeah, man. I mean, we could probably talk for an hour just on the making and the sort of behind the scenes of that record. That was really the sort of pinnacle, the height of the band as far as like recording with like a really, really gnarly producer that had a really big name. And, our recording budget was ridiculous. The Anthem was made mostly in this big mansion in Malibu. It was like this gigantic house that we rented, and it really wasn't a studio. It was just a gigantic house with a huge console in it, and everything got brought in there. And we lived there for like 6 weeks, and it was a very deep thing. Every single little track, every little moment was super hyper focused on, and we were really super deep on those Anthem songs. Rob Cavallo was just a guy that I was just in awe of. He was Green Day's producer, and here he was working on our songs and giving us ideas on guitar parts and arrangements and stuff. And I was like a total like little teacher's pet almost at that time. I was like taking notes of everything and writing down which amps we were using on what, and just trying to absorb as much about the production process and the knowledge that he was sharing with us, and the engineer too, like Doug McKean, he was no slacker, man. He knew how to make some drums sound awesome, So I was like kind of also sucked into the recording and production side, being really into that kind of stuff. And I don't know, it was an amazing time. We had some epic parties. When we were recording the B is for B-side songs sort of after hours, and some of that stuff you can kind of hear in the tracks that we were having a party while some of those vocals were getting recorded, and it was a great memories, man.
Yeah. You mentioned you kind of like taking notes and kind of just kind of really like being like the teacher's pet. That kind of translates. You kind of got your own studio now. Is it the Mo House Studios? Is it?
Yeah, it is, correct. Yeah, I mean,
and you produce lots of bands yourself.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been doing a lot of stuff. I've been doing all the Less Than Jake stuff here for, most part of 10 years, has been recorded here. I'm at the studio right now. And I mean, after you learn enough tricks and you've been to enough studios and you accumulate enough gear, I just kind of got to a point where I felt like I knew what a Less Than Jake record is supposed to sound like, all the layers and the nuances and stuff. And, definitely not in that by myself. We're all these guys in this band, we're all very musical and have a lot of opinions and stuff. So it's the same kind of thing. Everything on these newer records, it's very meticulous. Everything is thought about, talked about, and reviewed, and trial and error and all that stuff. It doesn't happen in 2 minutes. So the Less Than Jake stuff is definitely produced as a team. I just kind of like run the machine and sort of like say when in a way, but we're all very involved with everything. That's
awesome, man. I've noticed just doing a bit of research on you. You have your own YouTube channel and you fly a lot of drones. Is that right?
Yeah, right? I do. That's like my hobby these days, and I love it, man. It's addictive and it's super therapeutic. It's a weird thing.
Yeah, I was watching some of them. I was like, this is like that scene in Star Wars where in the woods and they're kind of like speeding through the trees.
Exactly.
People should check it out, man. Check out your YouTube show, Roger Lima on YouTube, man. It's awesome. When did you get into drone flying?
Well, I've always been into remote control stuff. I had remote control cars when I was a kid, and then when I was in my early 20s, I got into remote control airplanes, and I was a member of a club in Gainesville for like 15 years. I would like fly remote control airplanes hardcore, man. Like I loved. And then it got into helicopters, and then about 5-6 years ago is when the FPV thing with sort of camera and the goggles and all that became a little more popular and a little more affordable, and started kind of coming out of the woodwork with that. So that's when I got my first quad, which is a quadcopter. It's like a drone, right? And that's a camera on it. And it's really taking it from flying something and you're watching it fly by to having the goggles on and feeling like you're inside the vehicle, inside the drone. So that's what really is the thing that makes it so addictive and such a out-of-body experience and such a therapeutic thing. When I'm flying those things and I'm playing in there, I'm not in my body anymore. I'm flying above the tree. So I got to tell you, I don't go to psychiatrists. I don't take any prescription drugs. But if I don't fly some FPV, I'm not okay, man. I need that time out of my brain, you know, like
Mm.
I'm being serious with you. That is the thing that like, woo, it keeps me grounded sometimes, man. I love it.
So hold on, you're sat kind of like in like the woodlands, and you've got, is it like a VR goggles, and you can kind of just see what the drone sees? Am I right in thinking?
Yeah. What you see
That's
on the
crazy.
like a camera on the drone, and that's actually sort of what I'm seeing in the
Yeah.
goggles. So I'm sitting there, but I can fly all over the place. Anyway, yeah, I could talk about this all day.
Yeah,
So don't get
yeah. I haven't got too long with you, but yeah, I really want to touch on that because I was like, I'd not seen that before, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Okay, so Roger, are you open to playing my Stappoke quiz karaoke Scottish Stapp impressions game?
you know, I'll do my best, but I gotta say, I'm a, you know, I listen to lyrics sort of last and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I'm not. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'll give it my college try.
I'll give you a lot of hints. The score is out of 20. There's 10 lyrics to guess. For listeners, I'm pretty sure we're all familiar with this now, but I will give Roger a lyric in the voice of Scott Stapp, and Roger has to guess the next line, the band, and the track. 1 point for the line, half a point for the band and the track. 20 points up for grabs, 18 with the top score.
Yeah,
Are you ready?
Like, I'm prepared to fail miserably. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm expecting nothing.
I think the highest is 18, the lowest I think is 9.5. So
No,
I think you'll be fine. I've done a lot of these bands, which I think you'll be very familiar with,
right.
and I'll give you lots of wink, wink, nudge, nudges on the way. Okay, so I have to quickly do my warm up. My sacrifice. Okay, Scott Stapp's in the room. Okay, number 1. I'll sing along, yeah, with every emergency. This one's close to home. So how did the sorry?
Yeah. Okay. So it's a lessthanjake song. It's it sounds familiar. Yeah. It's Science of Selling Yourself Short.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. Just sing along. I'm the king of catastrophe. Yada yada. Thanks for the vocal reminder there. I haven't thought about that in a minute.
I watched your podcast with Chris, where you kind of go a deep dive into that track. Really interesting.
Excellent, man. That's awesome. Yeah, that's good stuff. I think that's a cool podcast if you want to dive deep on some songs.
Yeah. I want to give you 2 for that one. We had Benji from Skin Dread on, and he said he kind of got it wrong, his own track, but he said the lyrics were whatever I say they are. So I was like, okay. I'm not going to call you out. So yeah, number 2 points off the mark there. Okay, number 2. He spent 15 years getting loaded, 15 years till his liver exploded.
Bob gonna do now that he can't drink. Yeah, man. No effects, Bob. Okay, so like that's super close to home too. You know, I got to play in No Effects, so that's like one of my favorite bands. So
I know you have lessthanjake have No Effects have a very kind of cool synergy. You've been going. I guess you're really close with Mike, and you were on Fat Records, weren't you? So yeah, the relationship goes back a long way.
That's awesome. Those guys are the best.
Yeah. I'd love to have Mike on the show. Let me see if you can beat his score. Okay, number 3. Black coat, white shoes, black hat, Cadillac.
The Poison Time Bomb.
Yeah.
You know, that sounded more like the actual vocals than the like. That sounded like the real thing, man.
Are you saying Scott Stapp should join? I take it you got the band in the track.
Yeah, Rancid.
Yeah.
Of course.
Are you saying Scott Stapp should join Rancid?
I think I could see him singing that particular part. Yeah. The Poison Time Bomb. Excellent.
6 out of 6 so far.
I'm doing better than I thought, so let's keep rolling it.
Yeah, it will get harder. I like to ease you in. Okay, number 4. Let me just try and remember the melody on this one. I don't want to rest. I don't want to breathe when I want to hear about life. I can give you some clues if you need.
No, I got zero for that. I don't want
to. Is quite a well-known producer. Worked with Blink. If that helps you get the band.
So it's a Goldfinger song.
Yeah.
But, I didn't catch the lyric. I don't know the lyrics enough.
Okay. Did you get the track? It's one of their bigger ones.
Man, okay, so I'm sorry. I apologize. I have not been listening to any sort of ska punk, or I'm out of the loop, man.
Yeah. What have you been listening to? What's in your kind of quarantine playlist?
You know, I I just got Spotify, so I'm like
Wow.
exploring like other weird stuff. Like I'm like listening to very alternative stuff and kind of like just hearing playlists of stuff that I don't usually listen to. The thing that I think is really interesting is listening to like the new music playlist, like all the stuff that's just been released.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how much of it I don't like. So I don't know, just kind of jumping around. I kind of been messing around with alternative stuff lately. Yeah.
Oh, cool, man. Okay, so you got Goldfinger, so that's half a point there, so 6.5.
Okay.
The track was Spokesman, and the next line was, I don't want to hear a spokesman.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got that one.
Fair enough.
Maybe
Off to a very solid start, though.
Maybe here in your bedroom I would have got, but not that one.
Okay, number 5. Sail out with me, oh yeah, sail out with me tonight.
The record company gonna give me lots of money and everything gonna be all right. Yeah, that would be my real big fish, of course. Aaron Barrett.
Yeah.
Right there, that's awesome. Love those guys, man. You know, that's a band we played so many shows with that, like, when I think back to like COVID and all this whole thing, it's like we should have already played shows with those guys this year.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah, you got real big fish on as well. Those guys are awesome. So you're off to a flying start. Was it 8.5? So absolutely killing it. You 1 point and you're not last, and you go boom. I'm pretty sure you're going to have a solid score here. Okay, number 6. So don't debate a player straight. You know he doesn't get it anyway.
Don't get it anyway. I know it's The Offspring. I know it's that one song. Man, I don't know if I'm gonna know the lyrics though.
I reckon you get the track though. You can get the track. I'm pretty sure you can get the track.
Yeah, it's like it's the give it to me, baby. Whatever that song is. See, I don't remember these sorts of things. It's it's like
when you use your drone, I guess I'm trying to give you a clue. It's so hard to give the clue without saying what is the drone doing? I guess when you're using it, it's something around.
No, I don't know. The Offspring song. I thought that was. Isn't that the like Ombre? No,
is the right song with the give it to you, baby. But unos, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, cinco, seis.
Yeah. I mean, I could probably like sing the song. I just don't know the title of it.
Fair
I don't read stuff. I'm sorry.
The track was pretty fly for a white guy. The drone was the fly thing. I don't know. I think I just made you more confused.
I thought it was like White Ombre or something, but isn't the record called Ombre?
Ixnay on the Hombre.
Yeah, see, I was all confused.
I think it's that record. I can't remember. But you got half a point. You got the Offspring, so you're on 9. And we still got 3 to go. So a nice solid score. Okay. Number 7. Sail up into the night sky until our worlds collide.
That's a real song?
They're a great band as well. They released a new record this year, I want to say in February, March.
That did not sound familiar, I'll admit right now.
Fair enough. What clues can I give? I can't really give a clue without giving it away, unfortunately. This came off their record. What was the yellow one with Wasting Time, Eternal Summer on it? What was it called? Enemy of the World, off the Enemy of the World record. Okay. It was 4 Years Strong, Tonight We Feel Alive.
Oh,
would you have gotten that?
That's a rad band, but I have not heard that record, man. That's
a great
awesome.
record.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed them live, and there's a couple tracks that I like are in my like rotation or whatever, but I have never dove super deep on that band. But that's my fault. I should. That's a great band.
Well, now you've got Spotify, you can check out all their stuff. Also, their new record's amazing if you've not heard it. I really, really dig their new record. Okay, so still on 9. So we still got 3 to go. So number 8, here we go. It's like a bad movie. She's looking through me. If you were me, then you'd be.
That sounds familiar, but it's like a more popular song that I don't know.
Let's have a think.
I told you I'd be bad at these, man.
You're so close to not overtaking last place. You go.
I kind of want last place. No.
Oh, really?
I've heard that before, but I don't know what it is.
Oh, you'll kick yourself when you hear it. I think this song was co-written with Butch Walker, if that helps. What else can I give clue wise? I don't know. I don't think I can give any more clues. Yeah, I don't know if you're a wrestling fan. They just did a song for Alexa Bliss, but that's pretty rogue if you don't know wrestling.
Oh,
if you get off this, I'll be impressed.
Bowling for Soup.
Yes, there you go. Boom.
Na, 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 na. Oh man, it's
they're probably their biggest hit, I'd say.
Girl, All My Best Friends Want. No.
Oh, so close, very close. Not best friends. If they're not good, they're.
She's the girl all the bad guys want.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Did you get off the Alexa Bliss comment?
Yeah, actually, that's a funny thing because I'm buddies with Jared. We've done a bunch of shows with those guys, and I love Alexa Bliss. I think she's amazing, and he's friends with her. So that actually was a really good way to remind me of who the band was. Because I was like, oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that, because over the last kind of few months or so, I always, in my interviews, we always end up talking about wrestling. There's some kind of link between, like, I guess, alternative music and wrestling. I had Bees on the show last week and we just ended up talking about wrestling the whole time. That's interesting. Another person in the scene who loves it. So that's awesome, man. Okay, so you got 1 point for that.
All right.
So you're on 10. Boom. Okay, 2 to go. You were everything I wanted, but I just can't finish what I started.
Thing I wanted, I just finished what I started.
Just released a new record as well.
I guess my friend's over you. It's Newfound Glory. I don't remember the exact lyric there, but it's
yeah, 100%. Yeah. So my friend's over you. Newfound Glory. There you go. 1 point. And the next line was, "There's no room left here on my back. It was damaged long ago."
That's it. Yep. Not bad, dude.
No.
That's pretty good. I think you need to start a cover band. You're only singing this voice.
Oh, well, Scott Stapp appreciation cover band of Creed songs, maybe. Or maybe an Alter Bridge cover band as well. Okay, so you're in pretty high score now. So that's what, 9, 10, 11. So we got one more.
Okay.
I changed this last minute because I found out you're a fan of this band, which is awesome.
Oh, great.
Okay. Living on a razor's edge, balancing on a ledge.
Living, balancing on a ledge, you know, the evil that men do lives on and on. Oh, come on.
Oh, boy.
Give me a break.
Oh, boy. That was, I love that. You delivered that with such velocity.
I mean, the whole thing was made, and I would have got 1,000%, man.
I found out you were a big fan of Maiden and Def Leppard. I was going to do pour Some Sugar on Me as well, but I was like, it's hard to do the chorus without giving away the track. But
that's excellent. Yeah, Maiden's been a lifelong thing. I love everything about that band. They're the best.
Yeah. So did you kind of, when you grow up, like listening to kind of metal initially, and then kind of moved into kind of ska punkiness?
Yeah, for sure. My uncle was a drummer in a band in the 70s, and my mom listened to like a lot of harder rock, and I got into like AC/DC and Maiden and even stuff like the Ramones pretty young, and I just kind of like floated with like the alternative stuff, the regular 80s kind of stuff when I was growing up, but that definitely, like when Metallica started hitting, like I was really big into Metallica and Maiden at that time and all kinds of heavier stuff. And punk rock started leaking in sort of my high school years there, but and then I really didn't get into any kind of ska music other than like reggae, because I've always really loved like islandy sounding reggae stuff. That really didn't happen until I moved to Gainesville for college and like sort of exposed to like some new people that were into different stuff. I'd heard of the Bosstones, and but really Operation Ivy is the band that made me go, there's really something here with this energy of this kind of style of ska, I guess you can call it ska. It's really just punk rock with a different sort of attitude or like a upstroke, I don't know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Definitely, I was definitely like on the metal side, and like, yeah, for sure.
You love it. I feel like most people kind of who are into alternative music always dabble in different areas like metal and then pop punk and that kind of stuff. There's a nice crossover there. So you moved to Gainesville to go to college, and that's where you met the Less Than Jake guys, right?
That's correct.
How did you meet those guys?
The story came up recently. So I was like living in the dorms and that kind of thing, and just like kind of like trying to fit in and being a college freshman like everybody else. And I met some girls actually, and I was just trying to chat them up and get to know them a little bit. And their roommate happened to be Chris, and they happened to say something to Chris along the lines of, "Hey, we met this guy, and he plays the guitar, and you should jam with him or something." Something along those lines. And that's how I met Chris. And the first times that we hung out and played guitar together, and then and then as things progressed, then those guys basically were like, "Well, we're not really feeling our bass player, so if you get a bass, you can be the bass player." And I was like, I'd never played bass before, but I was like, okay, sure. So I bought a $50 bass from a pawn shop, and I've been playing bass ever since. So it's kind of a crazy thing. Yeah.
Is it true you got a bass amp as well, but you like wired like a car speaker into the amp or something? Is that right?
Man, how did you hear that? I did. I had like a, because I'm from Miami, man. So like all these Miami dudes, everybody had these big like bass systems in their car, and all that stuff was like a thing. So having like a big speaker in a box, those were like a dime a dozen back then. So like I had a couple big speakers in some boxes, and I just used that as my first bass amp, back in the.
That's awesome. I guess that kind of ties into your future career as a producer as well. Kind of just being handy around the studio. Kind of, when I studied, production at music school, I knew nothing about electronics. Next thing, I'm like soldering stuff together, and it's kind of quite a big part of it to be really handy.
Absolutely. I think the technical side of studio ownership and like being able to fix your own guitars and your own equipment and stuff like that. I'm really lucky that my grandfather was very versed in electronics, and he build TV sets and back in the day. And I learned how to solder at a very young age, and how to tinker and how to open stuff up and fix things. So yeah, I'm really lucky that like that's kind of part of my skill set, to be honest. And I mean, my studio is like, I've never had anybody here to help me wire anything. I've done all the soldering myself, and it's
wow.
I got a lot of toys, so. And going back to the drone thing, that's a lot of you got to build those things, and there's a lot of very precise soldering that goes on there. So yeah, learn how to solder, kids. It's not a
quite the electrician. Yeah. Awesome. Also a quick question. So reading up in Europe, kind of a multi-instrumentalist. So you kind of play a piano, viola, I believe you play as well, and guitar. Do you think kind of learning these other instruments kind of influenced the way you approach the bass?
Definitely a little bit. Yeah, man. I mean, I took a lot of piano when I was a little kid, piano lessons, and I played the viola like in junior high and the beginnings of high school. So that's kind of a long time ago, but it definitely, not only the skills of actually playing and the performance side of having gigs and recitals and that kind of thing, but just working with the other musicians, like that sort of team group effort, kind of like being in drama where you have that spirit of you're accomplishing something together. And I think I got a lot of that out of taking music in school, more so than like sort of the actual music, if that makes any sense. Like the community and the culture of being a performer,
Yeah, that's
like
awesome.
that, I got a lot out of that. But as far as the music goes, I think for me personally, like I'm just really lucky that I just hear things in my head, and I just pick out things by ear, and a lot of my song ideas and that kind of thing just come super like scarily naturally, where I'm not even really thinking about it. I'm just kind of like flowing it through me in a way, It's weird.
That's interesting, because I don't know if you're an Oasis fan, I'm aware of them, but Noel Gallagher has, musical theory wise, doesn't really have a lot. He just says the songs kind of come to me, and I listen to Oasis like, how do you this come to you? Like, is it like a natural instinct? I don't understand.
It's like you have this sort of initial conception of an idea, and then as it starts to sort of make sound waves, and as you're playing it for the first time, it just sort of leads you down a path. And if you're in the right headspace, this is how it is for songwriting for me. If you're in the right headspace, you just kind of let that path lead you to whatever the next step in the path that feels right is. And then it's like it comes to a point where you don't question these things anymore. You just go with it, and that's the song. That's what came out. That's what was created. And sometimes you go back and you rehash and you change something. But for me, especially in the last few years, when a song comes, it's a very complete idea, and you have to have the time and the patience to like sit there for the hours and follow that path and see, you know, where it's going to lead you. But I am kind of like that, like the way that you described, where the songs sort of fall out of the sky, and I'm just sort of like bringing them into the air, you know, making them heard, but they're not really mine. They're like, I'm channeling something. I don't know. I do kind of feel sometimes. I do feel that way sometimes.
That's awesome. Just quickly going to your Stappoke result. So you've got 12. So you're currently in 7th. So that's pretty good going.
You know, I was expecting last place, so thanks very much for that. I appreciate the hints too.
No, no worries. What can we expect from lessthanjake in the near future? It's hard to kind of predict at the moment, but yeah, coming up.
Well, we are. I'm not sure when you're going to air this, so this might jump the gun a little bit here.
Tomorrow night.
Oh, tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's a little jumping the gun on some stuff. Well, we are planning on releasing our full-length record before the end of the year. We're hoping for something in October. The record is called Silver Linings. I can tell you that.
Oh wow.
It's yeah, and we are planning on doing some sort of live stream event. That, you know, if you're a fan of the band, you might already have an idea that we probably are going to do something that's not your typical live stream.
Okay.
So I'm really looking forward to that, and there's been a lot of work gone into this idea, and but that should be announced sometime next week. And you know, lessthanjake.com, check out the Facebook and the Instagrams, and like, thanks for following us and all that. And we're really happy to keep getting to come up with ideas and do stuff. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah. Well, what's the social handle for lessthanjake and yourself?
Yeah, everything is just lessthanjake, Instagram, Facebook. I'm lessthanraj, RAJ on Instagram, and just look me up. Whatever, you know, you guys know how to use the internet.
Yeah, you'll find it. And also, your YouTube channel, if you want to watch some awesome droning, if you want Roger weaving in and out of trees right nimbly, I recommend it. It was good fun.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your time, Roger. Really, really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, man. Have a good one. All the best.
Awesome.
Rockology Hour interviews.